Hello, my name is Randy Ripke. I'm the developer of TASbillerCloud. The following video will help explain features of the program. If you have any questions, please feel free to email or call. I hope you enjoy your use of TASbillerCloud. Hello, during this video we're going to talk about the different types of sub-accounts. There are 4 different types: transfer to master, bill on master, percent on master, and the latest is the automatic percent of master. We're going to start with one of the more popular ones is the transfer to master. So let's go in here to our sample account, and on the rate tab we're going to see one rate for this account with 3 sub-accounts, each labeled as transfer to master. Now the sub-accounts, you add them by clicking right here. To edit them, we can just click on our wrench, and a transfer to master is the easiest kind to set up. Just click on the transfer to master option box. I would label it with the name of the office, and there's a secondary field for description if you want to. Both of these can appear on the invoice, and that's really it. Now the only other thing you may want to do is on the options tab is check off this box that says include analysis for sub-accounts on invoice. Chances are the person or the company that's requesting this sort of invoicing wants one rate plan, one invoice. They have multiple offices. The only reason they want the transfer to master option selected is they want to know on the invoice how much activity was used for each office. So for example, if we look at an invoice for this client, for this customer, we can see the charges for the master account, and then for each office, all we're listing is the usage quantities. So this has 3 offices, and so we have 3 different groupings of usage quantities on the invoice. But meanwhile, the client gets one invoice for one big dollar amount. They're charged whatever rate plan they're on, and they can see by office the usage for that office. And these are all user defined. You can set these up. There are some different videos on templates. You can show any number of statistics in this section, and you can add to this, change these however you like. Now the next most popular type, probably the most popular type, is the bill on master. Now this is the situation where you have multiple sub-accounts, and each sub-account has its own rate plan. So this client wants to get one invoice, wants to have each office with its own rate plan. Each office is charged based on that office's usage, but they get one invoice for the grand total. So in this scenario, the master account, by the way, the account number does not need to be in your system. It probably shouldn't be. 5203 in my case is an actual account that I bill, is not in my system anywhere. It's only used for billing. So the master account in this situation has no other rate information up here. It can if you want it to, but generally it wouldn't. All of the charges will be coming from the sub-accounts. So each sub-account will have its rate plan set up. So for the sub-account, we'll have its base charge, its usage charges, quantities included, and so forth. So bill on master, and I'll show you an example of this invoice. Oops. So in this example for the bill on master invoice, here's one invoice for the total dollar amount, and each office shows its own base charges, usage charges, and totals, with a grand total for all of the offices combined. So this way they get one big invoice for, in this case, $998.08, and they have the actual dollar breakdown per office of the individual charges for each office. The next variation is the percentage of master. And in this scenario, this client has one big rate plan, and regardless of the sub-account's actual usage, they want this sub-account to pay 25% of the bill, this sub-account to pay 50% of the bill, and this sub-account pays 25% of the bill. So when you set these up, you just choose percent of master and plug in the percentage. Now, it's up to you to make sure these percentages add up to 100%. I don't audit that. So be very careful when you set these up that each of the sub-accounts added together totals 100%. You'll see on the rate plan here, on the rate tab, these are all grayed out. It's showing you these are percent of master calculations. So if you were to look at the percentages being calculated here based on 50% in this case, you'll find that these numbers are exactly half of what you see here on the master accounts rate tab. So percent of master, this is saying the rate plan of the master gets divided up between the sub-accounts based on a predetermined percentage. Now the last variation is the automatic percent of master. This is a situation where the client wants generally a jumbo rate plan because they have many offices and they want the best rate per office. And so in this case, again, the account number for the master should be something outside of the realm of your normal accounts. This is just a billing account number. It should not relate to one of the accounts in your system. All of this client's accounts would be sub-accounts listed here. The rate plan does go into the master, and I simplified this one a lot just for illustration, but you can have multiple charges here as you would ordinarily. But in this case, we're having this one charge for a base charge and operator time, and I made it just 100 minutes just so you can see the calculations more easily. For each sub-account, auto percent of master based on which field. Now this field, like operator time in my case, must match up with one of the fields on the master account's quantity services because it's looking at this field's data to determine the percentage to allocate to each sub-account. So based on operator time in this case, this client used 14.6% of the total usage. Therefore, it got 14.6% of the base charge. It got 14.6% of the quantity included at the very generous rate of 50 cents a minute, calculated this sub-account's usage. Now this invoice is kind of neat. We can look at this one, and it actually shows on the invoice for each office its percent of the total, its charges. So the client gets one big invoice, in this case for $1,098.85, and each office is separately itemized based on its actual percentage of usage of the grand total. This one has 4 offices. If you were to add all these up, you would get 100%. And there you go. So those are 4 different types of sub-accounts in TASbillerCloud. Thank you for your time. Have a good week. Bye-bye.